Let's get to the bottom of this one. Unspoken truths that I miss one. Tap into the minds of the people, rather acknowledge before I dismiss one. Atheists, Muslim, Christians, Buddhists, they all got usage. All got perspective, it's a collective. Get to the bottom where the truth is, where the heart's uncovered. Where you detox from all of the lies you smothered. Where them tries could have killed you, but with faith you recovered. Yup. Peel off the makeup, we finna take off. Never said it'd be a cakewalk. Meditate till we charged up. Execute goes regardless. Decalcify my pineal. Breaking language barriers, we saw millennials. Planets passing age rotations, down me we owe. So down me we know. Sometimes we can't be slow, that's why my ears open. Every drop you add could complete the ocean. Speak up, play your part too. Been vulnerable, it's so hard to reflect on all the Jews life taught you. It's on you, tell the truth. Let's get to the bottom of this one. Unspoken truths that I miss one. Tap into the minds of the people, rather acknowledge before I dismiss one. Atheist, Muslim, Christian.
Hi everybody, I'm Kimberly with Unseen Twisted Truths. I'm going a little bit early accidentally. I was trying to put the thing in, and for some reason it pushed go live, so here we are. But anyways, my people will be showing up in a couple seconds. Tonight we're going to have a special guest on. Hopefully everything turns out okay. Let me finish typing this in because that's what I was doing, and then it went live. So I don't know where they're at anyway, so Dallas is more than just a name. So let me find out where they're at. Make sure they can log in and join in. Hello, I'm live.
All right, give me 1 second. I'm pulling up on my thoughts like right now.
Okay. Okay, so they'll be coming on in a second. I want to talk to you guys tonight. Tonight we're going to talk to Darlene Hereford. Hereford, and she is an amazing woman. Does many, many, many different things. True definition of strength. Just a beautiful, beautiful soul. So when she gets on, we'll talk more to her about what she does and stuff like that. But we're trying to get people here to save a go-kart track. And it's not just a go-kart track. This is more than that. This is history. This is something that's been around for over 30 years. This is one of the first black owned businesses. And the state's trying to close them down. The city is. They are making them pay for this tax. It's ridiculous. It's called a water runoff tax. So anytime water runs off of her property into the sewage, she is charged a fee. They are charging her $11,000 because they tried to buy the property from her and she wasn't selling it. So she wasn't interested in selling the property. She said, no, this is more than just property. This is family. This is history. This is integrity. This means something to me. This isn't just, a property that I don't care, you can have it. No, they want to bulldoze it and put down condos or whatever they want to do. So she says, no, I'm not selling it. So they said, fine, then we'll figure out a way so you can't afford it. So they charged her this water tax. And she's like, I don't have no water there. There's no running water at this present moment at that place. They said, we don't care. It's a sewage rain-off tax. So when the water rains and drains into your sewage, we are charging you for that. She said, well, everybody with a higher elevation sits above me, so I sit lower, so everybody's water runs off into my yard, into my drain. And they said they don't care. They don't care. It's her property. It's her drain. So now she has to pay this $11,000 with her taxes, or they're going to take the place from her. So I've never heard of a water runoff tax. Never, ever in my whole entire life. And I am almost 50. Have I ever heard of that? But it's a thing. Hello?
Hold on, Kim. I'm just now setting up everything. She had to go to the bathroom real fast.
Okay. But I was just telling people about the tax that they're trying to make up, this water runoff tax.
Right.
So I was just giving a little bit of insight of what's going on, and what we're trying to do is stop all this from happening. It'd be nice if we could change the law, to be real with you. It'd be nice if we could stop this, because this ain't the first time that's happened. There was a lawsuit going, and they had to pay back people and stuff for doing this to a bunch of people. But this ain't fair. This isn't fair that they can do this to people. How can they determine whether or not it's her rainwater or her water that's running into the sewage?
Yeah, for sure.
And how are they measuring the water? How are they measuring it, saying, okay, well, this much came from this? It's a sewage.
Yeah, versus all the other buildings.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's insane. But like I said, it's all... Jesus Christ, who's that calling? I'm sorry, Kim.
It's okay.
Just cut them off.
Okay.
Hello, Kim. Hello, Kimberly.
Hi, Mom. How are you?
I'm doing fine. You take... Okay, I'll take the seat over here.
I'll sit right next to you.
I'll sit right here. I'm sorry I'm late, Kim.
It's okay.
Okay.
Are you going to sit next to him?
Yeah, we'll sit together. How's it going for you? Are we too close to you?
Do I look close?
You look good. You look real good.
We are far away from each other.
Yeah.
We can get closer there. Here. Now we're close.
Okay.
So I was telling people about this tax, this made up tax that they did for the Rain-off tax.
Yeah, water runoff, they call it. Yeah.
Water runoff.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying to explain to the people what they come up with because they're trying to figure out a way of taking your property from you, and the only thing they could think of is creating this make-up tax, and this ain't the first time they've done it, right?
Right, and if you refuse to pay it because you don't have an understanding and they're not proving that you have an obligation to pay this, what they're saying is that a water bill could be tied onto a tax. But I mean, when the business was open, guess what, Kim? My water bill was never over $6,000 for a year. So for you to come to me and tell me, well, you have to pay this 11, this 9, and this extra $7,000 when the water is off, I mean, what sense does that make? And if you refuse to pay, they're going to add it to your tax bill.
So how can they tell it's yours, though? How are they telling in the sewage system that this comes from you?
Well, I don't know that they are. That's why I asked them if they could go in and do an evaluation and bring an expert out, because where my property is located, all the properties around me are sitting on a higher plane, anywhere from 12 to 3 feet off the ground above me. Okay, and so when it rains in my neighbor's parking lot, what happens? It drains over onto my side of the street and goes into a drain by my building. And these lots are larger than mine. So how are you metering this? Like you said, how are you metering this? It's really crazy. I don't understand. And I just feel like somebody needs to come out and do something. I know that happened before where the city of Detroit and the water department, they were in a lawsuit for all of Wayne County. They were charging Livonia, Wyandotte. They want to enforce this water runoff deal. And guess what? Through the class action lawsuit, they won. Livonia, Wyandotte, none of the Wayne County cities had to pay this tax. A lot of them got money back too. Yeah.
It just makes no sense to me. I've never heard of this.
Mm-hmm.
Never heard of this. And my dad's owned property almost my whole entire life that I can recall.
I don't know. I know the nonprofits would never have to pay for the water. I don't believe they ever paid for it, because I know they were trying to set up all the churches in the city of Detroit at one time to put the same thing on them. Yeah. Yeah. If you have a flat area where you may have concrete, asphalt, because it doesn't breathe and the water settles on your ground, okay, they want to charge you for that.
How though? That makes sense to me.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
I have no understanding of this.
And they're doing it and they're getting away with it. I mean, I told the people that until you can show me I owe you this, I'm not going to pay that. Building's is closed for 4 years. Absolutely no water going into the building. Isn't that something?
That's crazy.
Yeah, you're going to figure out a way to charge me anyway. And like I said, it's for a higher amount of what my usage was for those years. So that's really not fair. Yeah. I feel sorry, because our city is really big on foreclosing people's properties, and you hear the Wayne County Treasurer saying, we are here to help you. So when you do things like the water runoff, you allow that on tax bills, that's not helping anyone. Because once they take that water bill and they put it onto your tax bill, then the total bill, say I'm paying $17,000 now, where I never paid over $4,000 for taxes. Now what you're creating is more money for the people who take it for it, because they're gonna multiply the total amount now due, okay, and fees and interest, and every time, if you're in an arrangement, every time you go pay, you're being charged to free. So like if they charge a percentage, say 1.2% on $15,000. I mean, every time you make an arrangement, how is it helping anybody?
No, there's interest to it.
Yeah, the interest. But how is that helping anybody if they're constantly taking
Interest
money
and
from
penalty
you?
fees.
Penalty and interest rate fees. Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's penalties, and then after a while, they end up taking your taxes, right?
Yeah. 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 So you got to be really, really careful with this. I don't like the way it's set up, and like they say, you hear the commercials. We're here to help you. How's that helping you?
Well, I know that ignorance has a lot to do with it. So once you don't know your right and you don't know the law, they will do whatever they want to you. So if you can have the law shown to them and shown that this is a part of the amendment and that I do not owe this is not part of the law.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can opt out from the IRS. You can opt out from paying taxes. You just write them a note and tell them you no longer need their services and you don't want to participate. You are allowed to opt out.
Wow. I didn't know that. I never knew
Yeah,
that.
the congressman just made a mistake on the news the other day and said it on live to everybody that it's not a law.
Oh wow.
It's a choice.
We're deprived of so many of our rights, and it's only getting worse, Kim. It's only getting worse.
Because money was made up. So it's
Yeah.
only a choice to do taxes. You don't have to.
Mhm.
It's not a law to do taxes. So you can tell them that you are opting out of their services and you no longer want to participate. They will write you back a letter telling you thank you, and if you ever need them, let them know.
I'll remember that, and I'm going to share that information. I really share that information. Something else that bothered me as far as city services. You still have the videos of the floods and stuff around?
I have foundation looking for you.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, I'm going to get that to you one day, and I want you to kind of see if you could play that online. But we had backup city sewers that come on my came on the Dallas go-kart track property. And when you would look over at the area at the site, I mean, the water was a little less than half the height of the building. Okay, it looked like my building was floating in Noah's Ark. I continually called the city. I continually called the water department. They would never help me. Had to replace floor tile. Had to replace wall panels, and we had things like all kinds of moisture build up, in that place, mildew and mold and stuff. And the city would never help me. And this flood was coming from the city sewers. So right around 2018, they decided they're going to go in there and they redid all the pipes underground, even did them on my side of the street. And we've had no more flooding. But it's just amazing. And that building across the street, I told you, sit up on a higher plane. They were never no problem at all. They were coming getting buckets of water from my side of the yard, taking it in their building, trying to do insurance jobs.
That's funny.
Amazing. It's amazing what people get away with and what our appointed leaders will allow, with the people that they're supposed to serve. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard of that in my whole entire life. And I'm telling you right now, if I can find that video about opting out of taxes, you write them. I'm telling you, you never have to pay taxes again.
I'll look forward to saying that with you. Okay?
Yeah, because they can't force you to do anything.
Mm-hmm. Well, but they, if you don't, with the way they're telling you, like they told me, well, if you don't pay the tax, we're going to put it on the bill.
No, they don't have to. You can't do that. See, listen, what we have that nobody else has is our amendments. We have our 10 commandments. Then we have our Bill of Rights, and then we have our codes and our amendments that are for us, and them serve us.
Mm-hmm.
That's what saves us in this world, and nobody knows them though. Nobody knows the penal codes.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows their rights. The Bill of Rights. Nobody knows none of that. The 10 Commandments. Nobody knows none of that. And once you learn all that, anything else that man made is bullshit because they have to grandfather that in.
Right.
We all need to get our own person in our social security card and our birth certificate and get it part of a treasury of our own states. And once we get that as part of our own estates and we own rights to that, then we get ordained money that comes from that. because our straw man's entitled to us.
Okay.
But anytime we sign something off, we're giving away our money and our rights.
That's right. We are. We really are. And I mean, the laws and the rules are supposed to protect and serve the people, and we just don't have all those anymore. Every day they're just chopping off from us, you know.
Sure.
It's really sad. It's really
And they're going to see what else they can get away with. Like I said, ignorance goes far, and they play on those that don't know.
yes,
When you know, they can't touch you.
And I'm going to admit it's a whole lot that I don't know, but I'm going to start to study and share, just like you're doing on your show.
Mm-hmm.
Study and share. That's where we gain confidence, and we can have something to fight back with. You know, these are our rights. And we need to know the laws. We really need that. So I'll even look for a class if we can find a video.
I would listen to a lot of people that tell it though. I would go back to the Moors, go back to the back to where it started off with, of knowing the laws.
Okay. You know, it's really strange because my daddy's father was a Moor, and he never had any issues with anybody.
I guarantee you he didn't, because he knew his law.
Right. Never had a problem with anybody.
If you don't know the law, they're going to give you so much trouble.
I know. We've had trouble throughout the years in our business, but it wasn't because of anything we done, because we really served the community. That there were people in other places, you know, that set up and tried to create a lot of negativity around my place. So we fought to keep it clean, and we did really well. I'm so proud of my husband that he was able to commit himself to community, you know, because he really loved the people. And I'm proud to, partner with him in this. But now we're starting anew.
So explain to me what you guys did for when you guys stood up for the rights of people that were getting brutal retaliation from the cops and stuff.
Okay, we were members of First Detroit Coalition Against Police Brutality, and that was when Arnetta Grable was alive, and Diane Wawaski was, she.
Oops.
Miko, we had a really good membership. My husband and I were members, and what I did, I was actually secretary, and I did the graphics design for like the business cards. And I wish I had I would put my badge up to show you what the badges we created. But every time we get a call from someone in trouble with the police, and if we could get one of the members out there, whatever was going on, if it wasn't right, they quit. Oh, we know that badge, and they would leave. And in Pontiac, they had a lot of stuff going on because they had missing people. They were finding bodies in the river, and we had videos of police. Just taking it on themselves to, just intimidating young people in their cars, and seeing things like following young men down, and they would have paper plates on a car because they just brought a car, and they follow them down. The people be on the street, and the cops would go down the alley and face them out and take them out the cars and throw drugs in the car, pour the young man out the car. You can see him putting the drugs in the car. We saw the actual videos, okay?
I think they had one where it was like a guy, and they had like the handcuff of the sheriff on or something like that.
Yeah.
They had him in like the lake.
Or they found a body in the river. Yeah. It was in a sitting position in Pontiac, and it was one of our members' sons too. And then we saw like the young man I was telling you, they put out the car and threw the drugs in. They put them on the other side of the car, and they started calling for police backup. Said this guy was attacking them, and they had that young man in the coma. I think it was about 18 years old for a long time. And then when he was able to, after his recuperation, they tried to put him in jail. They attempted to put him in jail based on a lie. But it's not safe. It's not safe. And everybody who takes on a responsibility, who gets a title, whether it be training or whatever, they're not really, they shouldn't, they're not eligible, okay, to do particular things. You say you're a nurse, but you don't like people, You can be a doctor and don't and treat your clients any kind of way. You could be a police officer and you're supposed to be there to serve and protect. And I mean, you have these temperaments where you feel like you just can control people. You know what I mean? To
Mhm.
be to just do what you want to people. And that's not right. It's not right. All kinds of. I mean, they have these titles. They should make sure when they hire these people for particular jobs that they're really going to do that. They're gonna protect that title and they're gonna do what that title deserves. You know, because we just don't have what we used to have anymore. People used to be calm and settled, and we used to all take care of each other. And when you call the police, you know, like when my husband actually got shot one year. Okay, and we had customers out there that day. We were told by the police that it was a hitman. We went to the police station and we had people that could identify this man, okay, who witnessed the thing. And they put the pictures out there. We showed them who the man was. And you know what they did? They gave us his address and told us where he lived, like we were going to get him. They never did.
Ah,
They never did go after the guy. Honest, I'm not lying. They never did go
they
after the.
wanted you to do their job.
That guy later on died doing a robbery at a gas station. He killed himself. We saw him on the news. Yeah, but it's just amazing. When my husband got shot that day, the police didn't even come that day. They came the next day.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know. We have. I'm not saying all police are bad, but I believe that it's something out here, and it has, like always, something to do with the property, and people put a bad word out, and we just don't get the respect that I feel that we deserve. Because since we've been there, we've helped a lot of people. A lot of people financially. I mean, in school and children in trouble. We got them off the street and gave them jobs. And we would go to the high school, mainly McKenzie High School, because it was around the corner. Young guys, so sportsmen, basketball, track, or anything. We would put them out there, and they became part of the family. We just didn't bring them out to get a job, and we taught them how to build business, and how to work with clients and people. And they all did well from that. Yeah.
So, Mom, tell us something about you, a background of you, like where you're born and whatnot.
Okay, I was born in Gary, Indiana.
Sit back a little. Sit
Okay,
back a
I'm
little so we
sorry.
can see you on the screen. There you
Mhm.
go.
I was born in Gary, Indiana, and when I was young, I mean young, say 5 and up, I lived with my grandparents, and they were missionaries. My grandfather was the state superintendent for Church of God in Christ, Jason Owens, and
Uh-huh.
my grandmother was missionary for the state of Indiana. And but their mission, they would open a church up to the homeless and to the sick. And we went out. I mean, every day we had, like, you go out and work in the garden. Well, we worked in the garden too, but we
Uh-huh.
had to go out and we had to check on and we had to take care of the people because you never know who has a need. If
Right.
everybody's not going to come to you complain, you have to be foot soldier sometime. So at 5 years old, I was a foot soldier. People
Yeah.
say you can talk to anybody. I was raised not to be afraid. I'm not supposed to be afraid of any man, and you never know. Sometimes the worst people, the people that get the really dirty labels and stuff, sometimes they're just looking for somebody positive to talk to, and their whole attitude changes, when they're speaking to people on the street. But I love my grandmother. She was also a seamstress. She made clothing for the big pretty hats and the velvety looking suits. She made those for the bishop's wives. That was her part time income. And then she would take the leftover pieces and I learned how to sew. I got my first sewing machine when I was 7. And I was sitting next to my grandmother and we would sew for the homeless. If they need to come in and needed to sleep or they needed a bath or they needed food, whatever, my grandparents God allowed them, I'm going to say God allowed them to supply. We took care of business. We didn't play because we're all his children. And
Yeah.
you never know one day from the other. It doesn't take, I had a friend that was doing really well. And I mean, they lost their house in Farmington Hills, her and her husband. They lost everything at one time. And they had, I mean, they were millionaires, like $5-6 million. Why did they lose everything in one day? You hear me? Something happened. They lost everything in one day, and they had to find a home and everything. And just so happened, she's a neighbor not too far from me on Oakman Boulevard, across East Illinois. But I was looking at the house. I wanted to buy the house, and some foreign exchange had it. And when I met with the guy, he said 35,000. And I missed my date. So what meant for me to have? Because she came with $11,000 cash, and he gave her the house. Beautiful home, beautiful home. So God is good. He watches out for His own. And what the Bible tells you, the poor will be with us always. So I don't know why it's a problem with anyone, you know, supporting people who really have needs, because
Yeah.
you never know where you're going to be tomorrow. You never, health wise, mental. I mean, legally, you never know where you're going to be. So I think people need to wake up and start, thinking about other folks instead of yourselves. You live longer too, and the enjoyment of it, the peace that people have when you go and you would help them. How it raises up, it just raises them up, and I really enjoy see people shine. Anything that I've ever been able to do, I've had people and families in my own private home. You know, and they would live with me until they got on their feet. If they were sick, they were here until they got well. My son will tell you, we've had many people, and some of them I really didn't even know. I never knew, you know. But I mean, I think I would want somebody to help me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If there was something going on, and like I say, you never know what tomorrow's going to bring. You got to be faithful. You got to be right. You got to be right with God. You got to love yourself, and you got to love. He is love, and that's what He wants us to do. He wants us to love one another. And I mean, it's not all about, if you don't have money, there are other ways to do things. You can share
Right.
the things. And I'm just looking forward, Kim, to working with you and the children. Okay, I'm going to really enjoy that because I'm really a child person. I love the children, and I love seniors too.
So we want people to come out and volunteer. We want, if you can't donate money, we get that, but donate your time
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
share it. Share it's free. Share
Yeah.
is free.
Bartering, even. You know what I mean?
Changing
It's
services even. Yeah, because I'm all about the barter system. That's what I
yeah.
do. I'm a barterer.
Mm-hmm.
So you can exchange services even. Bring your kids out, ride on the go-kart track, help
Mm-hmm.
them put a wall. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying?
We plan on being opening probably sometime in June. Right now, we're just doing the fundamentals, our contracts, and
Yeah,
getting our monies in, to do what we have to do. But I want this year the go kart is going to be bigger and better than ever.
for sure.
And
For
I'm
sure.
gonna, I just think about what my husband would do, and he spent 48 years of his life to make sure all he cared about was those kids. We talk about the smiling faces, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
the children that couldn't write, they would write these children around the track, and just the parents were the expressions were just as alive and stubble as the babies they had in our laps going around. I mean, you should have saw them. It was just really nice. And we're gonna do something special too for all the people who supported us. We're gonna have a special membership for them, because that just to show our appreciation, and because nobody has to do anything. So the
So
people,
Ryan was talking about a putt golf thing or something,
yeah,
something more than just go-kart tracks.
yeah,
You add more to that area. You got enough space.
yes,
And it's in a great location. So add
mm-hmm,
more to the property. Add
yes,
something else for them to do.
mm-hmm,
Make it
mm-hmm,
so they can come out there and have an outdoor picnic area where there's grills and whatnot. So
yeah,
family, like what are them called? They're not lean-tos or whatever there, but they're like a pavilion or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
pavilions, yeah,
So have something like that with some tables and some grills, and they can come out there and spend the whole day, do putt-putt golf, do the go-kart track, just like a KOA campground.
Yeah, we're gonna bring the video games back in, and we're gonna try to set it up so it will be better than ever was.
Make the building across the street a center so they could do after-school activities and whatnot too.
And that would be nice too. That
Yeah.
would be nice because we used to have that club, and it's something that we, as partnering can do in a group, and that would be wonderful.
And then Ryan and I were talking now that Gibraltar Trade Center's closed. There's another place for people to do crafts and they have like a flea market thing over there.
But that's how it is.
To show people.
Oh, you mean the building across the street?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could do a class to show people how to do ceramics and stuff.
That would be wonderful. That would be wonderful. I'm all for that because I had considered doing something offering for the centers, for the seniors who were kind of stuck in their homes, and they needed things to do to kind of accommodate and open them for some of those kind of activities. But children can learn them too, because when I had the opportunity to teach ceramics to Southfield Public Schools, and it went up grade 1 through 4, and it really went over really well. Really,
you can do the same thing with that building.
Mm-hmm. And I never thought of that, but we can.
Yeah. And then you can have a bingo night where the seniors can come out. You can do a lot.
Use it like a hall. That would be nice. That would be. I never considered that. Just something
families could rent it for weddings or whatever, receptions.
We'll get it done, but it's a lot of work. So everything is work, but it doesn't matter. It'll manifest because we have good thoughts.
When Noah built the ark, I don't think he was thinking that it was a lot of work.
No, he didn't. He just did what he needed to do.
So we're not going to say it's a lot of work because there ain't nothing. Because waking up in the morning is a lot of work sometimes.
Yeah, it is. And we just have to be grateful for being there. You're right.
We get enough people together. It'll be running like a well-oiled machine. It won't be a lot of nothing.
Yes, and I told you we've been closed for almost 4 years now. And I still got people calling. Have you decided you're going to open yet? And you can hear the kids in the background. They sound like they're happy when they hear him, when the parent is talking to you.
Yeah.
But when they hear us, we're not here yet. The kids, it's like they have nervous break.
I know.
It's kind of funny. Yeah, but
I have a story one time. My grandma, like I told you earlier, my grandma had dementia early. And she sat us all around and she was telling us that we get to go to Cedar Point. And she said, because we went to Awanas and stuff like that. I don't know if you know what Awanas is, but it's like a church program after school. And we used to go there on Wednesdays and on Sundays and Saturdays. So we went to Awanas a couple of days a week. And she's like, yeah, the Awanas are taking you guys to Cedar Point. And we were so excited thinking we were going to Cedar Point. And we had all of our stuff ready and everything to go. And my parents come in and they were like, what are you guys doing? And we're like, yeah, Grandma told us a surprise. And they said, what surprise? And then we were going to Cedar Point from Awanas. And they said, no, that's not true. Grandma let you all down. Grandma didn't know what she was talking about. And we were just so crushed because we thought we were all going to Cedar Point as a kid because Grandma told us. And I could imagine what those little kids felt like when you guys answered the phone, and they were all excited that you answered the phone, and they said that you guys aren't open. That just crushed their world.
Yeah, and through the go-kart track, everything we did, we tried to make it affordable. Out in the suburbs, you're paying $10 and over. I don't think it was a business in the state of Michigan that kept the price of $2 and $3 for 48 years. And the children that didn't have money, it wasn't no big deal. My husband created this little thing called Sing for Riot. They go out there and sing, and beautiful voices out there too. You never know. You're looking at, but they would go and sing, and they would ride,
sing or dance.
They would dance sometime too. They sure would. And then, kids wandering the street, playing in alleys and stuff. We just got those kids together and gave them little projects with little things to do. And my husband, he literally talked to them every day about all the woes in the street and why we got to build up and we got to change direction and things. People really loved him. Okay. He really knew how to talk to the children. But I mean, they would come to hear a story from Ron. I just stand back and look. Ron had a story for everybody. So, but we would get those children, and we would let them do little things around the business, and they would have money. They would come and ride all day, and when they left, I mean, they weren't on the street breaking in and stealing out of the dollar stores and the candy stores. Some of the things that some of these children admitted to doing. So I mean, if you can give people a purpose, let them know that there's somebody, and their chances of doing anything, creating things, running a business one day are just as good. That dream is just as good as anybody else's. You have to live by example. So when you bring people in, I mean, we're stewards, okay?
Yeah.
Our responsibility to try to
Yes.
help, send them in the right directions. Yeah.
So I go around saying, in order to make a difference, you have to become the difference, because you have to lead by example.
You have to do it.
And never kill your child's imagination. And that's what society is trying to teach them to do. They're trying to dampen kids' ideals of what they believe in life and their imagination and stuff. And with the whole thing about the school system and everything else, they're trying to make it so that you can't live no more.
And that's really, really sad. I mean, if you just look at the way the system's going right now, it's like they're not just taking away all your rights slowly but surely. Okay, but I mean, it's like you can't even make decisions on how you're going to live, how your children are going to be taught. The Supreme Court not too long ago, they ruled that we didn't need, our children didn't need to know their heritage. They were taking African American history out of public schools.
Yeah.
Everybody has a history. Everybody studies a history. What's the problem with the African American history? It should be learned. I think everybody's history should be known, and we can share and learn more about each other. You know what I mean? We can do that, and we have a lot to lose if they don't allow history to be learned.
I have a theory about all of it anyways. I think it's all bullshit. And what they teach you now is lied. It's lied history. It's the history they want you to know. It's not the real history.
It's not the real history. I agree with you.
It's not the stuff that's going to make a difference. The first gentleman that created a wireless TV was this black man, and this was years ago. This guy, after he made an televised announcement about the TV that he created and made, where it was a solar powered TV, it ran itself. It was not solar powered, but a one circuit TV where it runs itself.
Okay,
and generates power.
Okay.
Within itself. He died. He died after he went on live and talked about his TV that he invented. And then a few years later, this white guy come across, and I'm not trying to be racist or nothing, but they want you to know a narrative. They want you to know a narrative that fits them. They don't want you to know the truth. They don't want you to know what the real is, because if it don't look good for them, then they're not going to talk about that. So when you talk about history, I don't want the history that's in our history books that I learned as a kid. I don't want the history that you learned as a kid. I want the history that we experienced.
That's right.
I want the history that our grandparents experienced and that told us about.
That's right, because they knew, they were to things. That's right.
But they take that out of the schools. You couldn't even do the national anthem. You can't even sing God in the schools no more. You can't do any of that in the schools.
You can't pray and do everything. And look, when they took prayer out of schools, I mean, look how the schools are doing now. That was years and years, tens of years ago.
Yesterday, there was a school shooting in Nashville. A little girl shot people.
They shot a teacher too. Isn't that something? These people died. And I mean, our children need to be heard. They need help. They need the right kind of help.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't blame it all the time on the outside, being away from home or things that may be bothering outside the home. But love starts in the home. Okay.
It sure does, because now we have to have bulletproof backpacks. We have to have a emergency wall that comes up and gives you a shelter against a gunman in school. This is now okay in school now.
Like a war zone sometimes.
Yeah. Instead of taking our children there to learn something, we're putting them in this concentration camp area, and they are learning how to be controlled, manipulated, and brainwashed. That's what we're teaching our children.
Yeah, and it causes them to have mental breakdowns, and it causes them to commit suicide, and it causes them not to trust.
Yeah, and the bully rate is so high because we teach our children that their ego is way more important than love.
Yes, yes, yes. But we have the ones who are able, I want to call us good shepherds. They have to come in and look to help. You can identify them easily. You sit up and just observe the children and tell who's having problems. And
And
then
they're not doing these background checks like they should on the teachers and whatnot.
I know, I know. At one time they were talking about allowing the teachers to have guns in school, and I mean, some like you said, they're not checking backgrounds,
Yes.
and somebody in there might have a mental, issue,
Oh, that lady that went off on this young man, and he was just trying to tell her that different people learn at different rates. You could
Right.
teach me a different way without hollering at me
Hmm.
because I can't learn how you're teaching me. So me
Right.
coming up to you and saying, I can't learn how you're teaching me, instead of you trying to figure out what's best for me, you start yelling at me.
Help. He was actually asking for help when he
Yes,
made
he
this.
was. Yeah.
Yes, he was. Yeah, but that's I don't know. We need to do something and do some kind of campaign because the parents need to be more involved. And where the parents can be involved, then we need to be able.
Do they want to though? Because most parents these days see school as in a free babysitter.
Oh, that's been for years.
Yeah.
They don't see school as I was one of the parents that went there and ate lunch with my kid, and every Wednesday I went to eat lunch with my kid, and then every other weekend they did an event at this thing, and they needed parent chaperones. I'd come and do the dances with the kids and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's parents that want to be a part of their kids' life, and then there's parents that don't.
Mm-hmm. I have 5 children, and every teacher in every school they ever went to knew Darlene Hereford, and I participated in every and anything they had. When it came to like Renardo went over to Brother Rice High School, and he ran track and he did basketball. He was the only a freshman that played varsity everything, and he stayed in Southfield Eccentric newspaper. So what happened was that I was pregnant even, and I would pitch a tent when no other parents was out there to support my son and whatever he was doing. I took a group of boys, had about 20 boys, 20, 30 boys. My husband got us another van, and I would take them around to play round ball. We would go on trips, and it wasn't about money or anything because whoever may not have had, I mean, the other one didn't know, but they were taking.
Yeah, no, for sure.
We did weekend trips together, and some of the boys, they end up working for us. But I mean, it's like creating extended family. You know what I mean? And we loved it. We did homework. We studied together the weekend. We did trips. And I ended up with about 15, 20 of those boys in my church choir. So I just love it. And all of them are doing well. I mean, some of them, like Joey Kennedy, he's in Arizona. He owns his own real estate company, and he owns his own insurance company. Like, man, he played ball for the White Sox, and let's see, he has a company where he does heating and cooling, though. He's doing that now. And then I'm trying to think, Deanna Lavelle, she was a social worker for Vista Maria. All these people came through us, and we had the twins. A friend of mine, her daughters, Rita and Renee, they were twins. They ended up being doctors, but it just goes to show you can spend a little bit of time for children who may have had some issues. And over that period of time, if you're right with them, their whole lives have changed. Like Leland, he told me that, like you guys saved my life. I was on my way to jail. Now he does, he teaches fish farming. Center. He has a community center
in Ohio.
Has about 100 pieces of land. Leland is doing extremely, extremely well. And he does that, what do you call it? He's a housing inspector too for the state. But he's doing really, really well. His children are really, really doing well. But we would take our young people who needed just a little bit of help And I mean, we help transform their lives. I say, I am so blessed that I had a husband that would put up with me. You
Right,
see?
right. I feel that. I feel that.
Because he would always let me bring somebody home or bring somebody in. And
I
he
feel that.
supported that. So I was blessed to have that, you know. And I look forward to, starting up again. I
You
really
know what the thing is, like I told you earlier, this whole thing with the platform that I'm doing right now, even though nobody may be watching right now, doesn't mean nobody will watch. And it doesn't mean that one person, the right person, will hear it, because God puts people in your lives for a reason, and the right
Yes,
ones will
he
hear it when
does.
they need it.
Yes, he does.
So this is a platform to be heard, and that's why this is the People's Podcast, so the people can be heard, because children don't get heard, people don't get heard. Everybody gets talked to, nobody
Yes,
gets talked with.
talk back. That's right. You're right.
So everybody needs to be heard. Everybody needs to be listened.
I think it's really nice to, you know, get more people to come on with their ambitions. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's more of us out there than we could ever imagine. There's a lot of people out there that want to help, and some of them don't know. I mean, they're equipped to help, but they don't know how to
The
lay
resources.
out a plan. Right, right.
Yeah.
And we
So
need,
we do flyers and put flyers out saying, okay, this is what we're doing from now on. Everybody come together and help build this for the community. They may all join together to help build this for the community, because if it gives their kid a place to go where they know their kid is going to be safe,
Mhm.
and they something they may learn on the way too.
Yeah, yeah, and so we keep it kid friendly, well, family friendly, and kids safe. That's so important to us.
Extremely,
Hmm.
extremely.
Yeah,
Because even though we can't make a difference right now, because how we already been conditioned in our minds and stuff, we can free our minds and release our children though, and let them have their own thoughts,
yeah, yeah.
allow them to see the truth and what it really is.
Mm-hmm. And it's just an enjoyable thing to do to see the changes in the personalities and the attitude of the children, the happiness, the eyes. I mean, I'm telling you, I have seen everything change about some of the children, and it just makes that hurt, that touches my heart. It makes me feel like I'm so.
Yeah, no, I
That's
get
my
it.
reward. That's my reward.
For sure, I get it.
But I can really appreciate that. No child should feel left alone.
No,
Children are important, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
our children have something to say, and we just need to open up and support and listen. We would have a better world if we invest in our
for
young people and
sure,
our
for
people.
sure.
We will. Even the older people, we will have a better world because
Yeah, no,
we live in a society now where nobody trusts anything. It's
yeah,
hard to trust anything. So the ones who are loyal to seeing people grow, we need to get together and help.
yeah.
No, no. Shut up.
I'm sorry.
Somebody must be at the door.
So
But that's how it is, though. See, because when I come into somebody, they always think that I come with
stop it.
that I always come with some ill intention and whatnot, because they're not used to a genuine person.
They're not. They don't trust. They can't.
Mm-mm. And I don't blame them, though. I honestly, I don't hold that against them. All
Mhm.
I can do is continue showing that I'm pure and genuine, and then
Right.
and eventually they will see that I am. If not, then it wasn't meant to be. Like I told you earlier, only thing I can worry about is self.
Mhm.
Anything else is none of my business.
Yes. Yes.
So I
That's.
want to fulfill my purpose, so I don't come back here anymore.
Mhm.
And that's what my whole goal is, to fulfill my purpose.
That's
My grandson already got bullied in school, and he just turned 9, and
wow.
he was bullied because of his shoes. So his dad bought him new shoes.
Mhm.
So the shoes things were okay. But then
Mhm.
it got to the point where he was like, no matter what, they don't teach us properly in school.
They don't. They
And
don't.
he's like, instead of explaining how it's not right, they tell you that you're wrong and make you feel like you're dumb.
That's right. They put you down. They take it's like they're stripping, you know. They kind of strip or dilute the mind, okay?
Yeah.
They don't push you to learn. It's like almost they give you a lesson, okay? They put it in front of you as if you're supposed to be able to understand. You got so many people in a classroom. How do you know which child might not be getting everything. Everybody's
Right.
not a self-starter, okay? And they need more attention. So sometimes you have to break down, just go through the students and see who's liking anything. Get everybody on the same page. And guess what? When they're motivated, even teach them to help each other. Because I told you I had the boys over and we helped talk. They helped do their homework and everything.
Uh-huh.
That helps too. But
Yeah.
it has to be somebody who's really dedicated to
They're
teaching.
not supposed to teach in school though. School is supposed to just teach you how to get ready to go into the working environment. That's all school's for.
That's my
School is supposed to teach you to be conditioned.
Yeah, I did homeschool for a while. Were you in my homeschool? I did homeschool for a while with my daughter and a couple of my sons. Yeah, and they turned out really good. I mean,
But school does not to teach you anything but to stay in a little box because they don't want you to be free. They don't want you to have your mind open to be able to learn something different because then you might overturn them.
that's what I'm saying. But we need to prepare our kids for a greater future.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
And it starts now. It starts now.
exactly. And if they can't make proper decisions, you think the world's in trouble now. You know, we're gonna have some serious stuff.
Oh, I already know it's gonna be ugly.
We got to change all that. No, I mean, school. I mean, what is school? A school is supposed to be a place to learn. And if it's not if the title's not fitting, we need to find something that's going to attract people's attention and make it work.
And
Because
I promise you, there's a bunch of people that are appreciative of you, and that without you, they wouldn't be who they are today.
oh, thank
I,
you.
I promise you, there's a bunch of people that feel that way.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
when they
we can pass.
when people mention things about me and I look at them and I say, well, I didn't do anything. You know, it was like, we had to deal with something. We dealt with it. And I'm glad that I was part of the solution. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? I was able to help you. But I mean, that's something like we were saying earlier. That's what God wants us to do.
yeah,
He wants us to help our people. I'm just here to do that. Everybody I mean, you might think somebody's bad in your eyes, but it just might be need to be if you don't want to get down with them. It
yeah,
might be they just needed some reconciliation for some things that they were going through, and somebody to talk to and listen. And like you said, we talk at each other and
yeah,
to each other, and we don't consume what
yeah,
what people. If you listen to people's stories, sometimes you can feel what they're going through.
for sure.
And we just need to get down and do what we have to do. If it's through the recreation, if whatever it might be through, guess what? We can do it. This is something, the recreation is something that would bring the people together.
Yeah.
So you can do something else with them, we pull them in that way. But it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing.
So throw your address out there.
Oh, at the go-kart track?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the go-kart track is at 4455 Oakman Boulevard, and it's between Chicago and Grand River on Oakland. Okay, on Oakland. Take Oakland all the way around right there. And we had a lot of fun through this. I mean, our friends and family. I mean, we were looking for maybe 150 people, free rides, all beef meat, hot dogs, and hamburgers. And we were looking to start like at 12 o'clock. We ended up opening gates at 10 o'clock, and we were trying to do a head count. And we got lost at 800 people. The Detroit police, they never offered us service, but this time they did. They said, "Oh, somebody put it on Facebook." It was so funny, and we came out here to make sure that we could assist when when trouble goes down. And I said, "We're not gonna have an issue." And guess what? Those people ate. Those kids rode. Grown people, everything that was in the store part, the chip, the pops, we just gave it out. Let them know that we appreciate our people. You know what I mean? And I have pictures, videos of it. You wouldn't believe the people. So many people on the lot that look like how ants swarm.
Yeah.
You can see the people passing each other. It was beautiful.
We're
And
gonna do it again, though. We're gonna do it again and make it better than ever.
man, we're doing. I miss my people. And we would sit out sometime and share. But my husband was really better with the adults, and I was the one with the church with the kids. Yeah, but we had a good time, and I'm glad my young men grew up in there. because it taught them how to respect and be able to
Yeah.
speak with other people. Communications, it has a lot to do that. They're not fearful to talk to anyone, and they're fair, and they're very considerate of other people's feelings. And that I am blessed to have 4 sons and a daughter that understand the process, of being able to relate the right way to people. It means a lot. Everything is not about profanity and me trying to prove myself to you, because I don't
Oh,
have to prove myself to anyone. You see what I mean? I
yeah.
know what I do, okay? I know whose I am, and I know what I stand for. So, I mean, it's some people. Well, I'm not going to stop talking about my people, but we need to get it together.
Yeah, for sure.
We have a divine purpose, and we need to get there before we lose too many of our children. Yeah.
So Ryan, what does the go-kart track mean to you?
Um, financial freedom. I think that's the biggest thing. I feel like I kind of been like spoiled behind it, like the aspect of being able to have a foundation right in front of me to where I don't have to be codependent on someone for financial gain or benefits.
So losing this would do what to you, though?
I feel like not just me losing it, but like the whole community losing it. It would be more devastating to the community than anything.
It would be.
It's like I say, like we it's so many different opportunities, or we could have kind of branched out and probably went to the suburbs, but we stayed dedicated to that area due to the fact that my dad wanted to make sure that he gave a foundation for like people of color and something beneficial for everyone that's in the urban community.
Yeah.
Like that was the biggest thing. It was convenient for one because everyone didn't want to go on the other side of 8 Mile. Let's be honest. Everybody might not have their vehicles plates and all that other stuff. They might not have all that because times is, and especially in this time in this economy, you just might not have everything.
Right.
So by it being right up the street in the neck of the woods, it's like it's convenient for one. The price is efficient, and you can actually just have a good, honest, clean family fun. And that's just it was like being the owner of Willy Wonka and a chocolate factory.
It was. Yeah, almost like that. Yeah. Yeah, it was really fun.
So now that you have little ones, you want your kids to be able to experience the same thing you did?
Oh yeah, without doubt. Without doubt. I feel like that's only right.
Yeah. And my husband said that he believes that we taught more than half of the city of Detroit how to drive a car. We used to have a Secretary of State across the street in the Shoppers World store. And what happened when they couldn't pass the road test, they would bring those people that failed over to the go-kart track. It was so funny. I mean, we get people on a monthly basis,
That's
but we did. We taught a lot of people how to drive a car. The only thing we couldn't give them was but they had a brake and a gas pedal, right? They didn't have
reverse.
They didn't have reverse. Oh, well, they didn't need reverse. But yeah, we had so much fun up there, And I met a lot of people. We used to get the bleachers and stuff out for the city council. They used to come and they would have different things in the parking lot, and we had one of the police officers that was a friend of my husband and made friends with my husband. He would bring his drug paraphernalia and do displays on the tables, and he would allow the kids to look at them and would tell them about what they did, and then how these drugs killed the people, And we really no drugs everywhere we went. And then inside they had tombstones on the wall. Remember that? With the Grand Reaper, and each tombstone would talk about how someone died where they do gun violence, drug violence, and domestic things. And anyway, we had at least 15 tombstones, and all of them gave a story. And I mean, he would walk them through and talk them to them. I mean, about all the crime in the world and the drugs in the world and the guns. And I think he really made an impact. Some of the schools will bring their kids just to walk through the building so they could see the tombstones. So that was nice. Yeah. But we're gonna get it back together. Yeah.
Better than ever. Better than ever.
My husband, he wanted me to sell it. He said he didn't want his sons to have to deal with the struggles that he had to go through for our land because we had, developers always trying to take our land from us. And he didn't want my sons to have to deal with that. So, Darlene, I don't want you to have to do it neither. Go ahead and sell it. But after 3 years and he's gone, guess what? We're going to celebrate. We're going to celebrate him and we're going to celebrate our business because it was meant to be. It was meant
And I don't think your boys want to get rid of it, honestly.
They were really down about it for a long time, but they came up and with a plan, and I'm willing to go with it. I'm going to stay there. I'm going to support them.
We're going to put a lot of different events on. We're going to put a lot of different events. June 11th, we're going to do the Everyone Eats with Feed Detroit. We're going to do that there at Dow's Golf Course. Or go-kart track, I meant. But it may be a golf
course.
Yeah. Find the spot. Maybe you can come out one day and help me to find the spot for it.
I just spoke that to existence right now, just letting you know. Yeah. I keep saying golf course all the time.
Yeah, that would be fun. That's going to be a lot of fun. And we're bringing, like I said, the video games back in. Everything is going to be brand new because, they actually broke into the property 4 times. And they basically took almost everything we own. But the go-karts, I mean, they're on order already. They have to be made. I'm going to do a couple two-seaters this time, too. Where you might have a smaller child and you can put them, right next to
Detroit comes together often. Detroit comes together often. There's a group of people that patrol different parts of Detroit where party stores and whatnot. I'm going to try to get a hold of them people and let them know what we're doing in Detroit and that keeps getting broken into. I bet you someone will volunteer their time to make sure that doesn't happen no more.
Yeah, and my neighbor, he has a surveillance system. He can call and tell me somebody's taking your fence down and taking tires off your lot. But he's looking at my side door of my building, and he doesn't call me and tell me that they're taking all your equipment out the door.
Well, he might be a part of it. I'm not going to put that onto the universe, but I'm just saying.
You never know.
If they're not in his, it keeps them out of his.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
But it's all right though. Like I said, I'm going to have a lot of different people. This is big for the community. This is big for the Black community. This is big for the environment. For the for the people. This is big.
It belongs to the people, This is something you can call theirs. It was put there for our people, the people.
Yes. So we're going to give back to the people and let the people help take care of it.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful. To have the support of my people, of our people, that'd be wonderful. Yeah.
So April 1st, we're putting on an event at Club 54. Over here on Van Dyke in Sterling Heights, and it's going to be an Aries and Taurus celebration and fundraiser. We are going to collect money for Everyone Eats, so we can go around and get different people to donate and whatnot for it. So
that sounds really nice.
So we're going to put that on so that when June 11th comes around, Dow's Go-Kart track will be up and running.
Yeah, you said that event was running again. It's like April the 1st.
April 1st, next Saturday.
Yeah, because I'm still waiting. I have some estimates on the new driveway, and I'm waiting for more estimates on the track itself.
I do things backwards, sweetheart. I talk to the universe and the universe listens. I speak things to existence. So
I need to start talking backwards.
I don't go properly by the laws and wait for this and wait for that to go around.
I had to line them up so I would know the cost,
Yeah, but I'm telling you, by June 11th, your place will be up and running.
I claim it. Thank you.
Thank you. So do I. And we are going to make a difference, and we're gonna come together. I'm going to get a bunch of people to help. I got those phone numbers, and that's what I'm going to start doing first thing tomorrow morning is calling people.
Okay, be great.
After 10 a.m. though, because I don't do people before 10.
Mm-hmm.
After 10 a.m., I'm going to start calling everybody and speaking to them about what's going on.
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful.
So do you want to leave with anything?
I just appreciate you being on the show, and you want to. We're going to partner on some things, and support each other because all of us, seemingly, our missions are so close. The more people involved, the more we can do. We're doing something over here, and while we're doing something over here, before that fully ends, we can have something else up to go into. Because we are people, we got people out here that need help.
Yeah.
And I'm just proud to have met you and been on your show.
Oh, I appreciate you. Thank you.
And your diligence. I mean, you're what we need. Okay.
Oh, thank you. You're what we need, though. You're what we need. The world needs more of you.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Excuse me. Mm-hmm.
But no, when I worked in the medical field, I held the hands over 30 people that have died, way more than 30 people. And to me, that was a blessing to me, to be able to help them with the passing and help their family, comfort them, and to let them celebrate instead of mourn, because a lot of them mourned, and because of me, they celebrated.
Yeah, and and that's something, because I prayed one day and I said, well, Lord, what do you want me to do? Because every time somebody gets really sick or dies, it seems like you, he's got specific people to do specific things at specific times. Yeah. I'm holding the hands of people who are passing and doing that transition. I mean, the whole thing, it's the happy, you wouldn't believe how happy these people look.
Yeah, I know.
They just needed somebody to be there. And you never know when it's going to happen. I just happened to be there with my auntie, okay? Mm-hmm. And then with my father, I didn't happen to be there. That was part of the plan, but I had no idea that he was dying right then, because I was filling out paperwork to bring him home when the doctor came and told me, you don't have time. Come on, he's leaving now, But I prayed with him. I held his hand. I continually checked his heartbeat and his pulse, and he was singing songs to me and quoting scriptures. And when he would stop, I said, Daddy, you're not going yet, are you? And when he would just start singing again, it would scare the heck out of me. But I love my father, and I'm just glad that God gave us that time to share. I needed that.
So you said that everybody has a purpose, and there's certain people that do certain things. Well, I believe Dow's golf course or go-kart track has a purpose, and then there is a reason for that, and it helps so many people. So we're going to make sure that stays standing.
Oh, thank you. I thank you so much for supporting us. Yeah.
Yes. I believe in you. I love you with all my heart. So
I love you too. I love you for who you are and what you do.
Thank you. That's how I feel. You want to close with anything, Ryan?
I feel like it's like the ending of the last ending of the prayer. I gotta end it off. I appreciate you. You're a great person.
No. I'm talking about with the go-kart check. Do you want to leave it with anything? Anybody wants to volunteer and help out? Who do they get a hold of?
And I'll make a list for you too.
Okay. We'll put a number, a phone number, and like a website or something, email address, something, so people can get a hold of somebody and say, hey, I want to volunteer.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I need a person to contact.
Okay.
So give me that information. I keep this pinned on my page.
I'll send you more too. Yeah.
I got the go-kart track thing pinned on my page. I'm going to keep that pinned on my page. And then afterwards, I'm going to put down the information. People need to get a hold of somebody to say they want to volunteer, because we're also taking volunteers.
Okay, great.
All right, I'll end it. So I appreciate you for coming on, and may your night be full of positive energy and high vibrations. And thank you for tuning in. We are the People's Podcast. So thank you for listening. I say, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Oh wait, Kim.
Yes, go ahead.
I gotta after this. I don't know if you're busy or whatever you got, but I need to call you.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Stay blessed.
Bye.